Hi, Verbling. My name's Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and today we're talking about word stress. If anybody out there wants to friend me on Facebook, and you guys can get class updates or message me there, giving me suggestions for new classes, asking any questions, or just to say hi. Henry, welcome to class.
Thank you, Michaela. How are you?
Good. How are you, Henry?
Fine, thank you.
Awesome. Zeno, welcome to class.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, Zeno. How are you? Good. I'm doing
good.
really well.
Thank you.
And Nuri, welcome to class.
Hi.
How are you, Nuri?
Fine, thanks.
Have I had you in class before?
No, it's first time.
It's nice to meet you. Where are you from?
Colombia. Bogotá.
Awesome. Good to have you here. All right. So we're talking about word stress today. And I'm going to put the notes in the chat box for you guys. We're going to start just reading a little bit about word stress. And then we'll move on to some practice. Oh, and I'll screen share for anyone else who needs to look off my screen. There we go. So to start talking about word stress, we need to actually go a little more simple and talk about a syllable. So what is a syllable? Can anyone describe what a syllable is?
The parts in a word?
Definitely. Parts of a word. What else can we add to that definition of syllable? How can we describe these parts, these word parts? No ideas?
I think it is a unit of spoken language rather than a phoneme.
What did you say?
It is a unit of spoken language rather than a phoneme.
Yeah, it's a unit of spoken language. We use it to measure words, and it always contains a vowel. That's another important part of a syllable. So every word has a certain number of syllables that make it up, and it has to, or in like 99% of cases, has a vowel. All right. So how many syllables do these words have? We have a short list of words here that we're going to talk about syllables for a second. What about the first word, book? How many syllables does that have?
One syllable.
One syllable. So many times a syllable will only have one vowel, but because these two vowels make just one vowel sound, it's just one syllable. What about the word curtain? Curtain.
Two.
Two. How about flute?
One.
One. Birthday.
Two.
Strength.
One.
One. Yeah, that's actually, I think it's a hard one because there are so many letters there, but it's just one syllable. And stapler.
Two.
And the last one is chocolate.
Two.
Three.
Two.
Three.
This is a tough one. And I think the best answer is two because of the way we pronounce the word. The word is spelled chocolate. And so technically there are three syllables in the spelling of the word. But when we pronounce it, most American English and even British English speakers will just say two syllables. They'll say chocolate. And it's not the only word that's like this, unfortunately. These are really irregular, but other words like interest is spelled interest, but it's only pronounced with two, interest. And the word comfort, or comfortable actually, is similar because we say comfortable even though it's spelled comfortable. So kind of a trick one there. It's an irregular word that does not pronounce all of the syllables in it. All right. So let's read a little bit more syllables and word stress. This first paragraph, I'm going to ask Henry to read for us, and Stephen and Victor, welcome to class. Do you guys have the notes open and everything?
Excuse me.
Steve, I just want to welcome, Henry, in a sec, you're going to read. I just want to welcome Stephen and Victor to class.
Hello, classmates.
Hey, good to have you guys with us. Are you both caught up? You have the notes open and everything? I hope that you do. Henry, will you read this first paragraph for us?
In English, we do not say each syllable with the same force or strength. In one word, we accentuated one syllable. We say one syllable very loudly, big, strong, important, and all the other syllables more quickly. Continue?
No, that's good. Thank you.
Okay.
And the next paragraph is for Zeno. Will you read the next one?
Let's take three words: photograph, photographer, and photographic. Do they sound the same when spoken? No, because we accentuate suggest one syllable in each word, and it is not always the same syllable, so the shape of each word is different.
All right, thank you. So we have a little graph below that shows us kind of in a visual way what that means. The first word, photograph, has the stress on the first syllable, the brown syllable there. And so the shape, they show you that the first syllable is more important or louder than the other syllables. And then it's 3 syllables total. The first syllable is stressed. The next line, we have the word photographer, where you can tell that the second syllable is the stressed syllable, or the most important syllable, out of the 4 syllables. And the last one is photographic. Photographic. So that there, the third syllable will be the stressed out of those 4. Okay, moving on to the next page. There is a short paragraph here. And how about Nuri? Will you read it for us?
Yes, wait. The syllables that are not stressed are weak or small or quiet. Native speakers of English listening for the stressed syllables, not the weak syllables. If you use word stress in your speech, you will instantly and automatically improve your pronunciation and your comprehension.
Thank you very much. And we skipped a short paragraph here that I'll read quickly. So this happens in all words with 2 or more syllables. Teacher, Japan, China, above, conversation, interesting, important, demand, etc., etc., etc. So So every word that has more than one syllable will have one syllable that's pronounced more strongly than the others. And since we already read the next paragraph, I'm going to ask Stephen to read this right here. It's a short paragraph and a couple rules.
Okay, teacher. Try to hear the stress in individual words each time you listen to English on the radio or in films, for example. Your first step is to hear and recognize it. After that, you can use it. There are two very important rules about word stress. One word, one stress. One word cannot have two stress, so if you have two stress, you have had two words, not one word. Um, Two, stress in always on a vowel.
Okay, so those are the only two words that stay true for all words. Or sorry, the only two rules that stay true for all words. So we have some other rules that we're going to talk a little bit about today. But these are the only two that don't have exceptions. Because a lot of the rules we're going to talk about are complex, and they don't stay true for every single word. There's a lot of exceptions to them. Okay, there's another short paragraph here, and I'm going to ask Victor to read for us. Victor, are you there? Victor? No? Okay, Victor, I can't hear you. If you're having trouble with your audio, try changing your microphone settings or coming to the top of your screen and looking for the button that says Settings. Fernando, welcome to class. Fernando, are you there? Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, good. Fernando, are you there? No? Okay. Well, Fernando, if you're having trouble, let me know in the chat box or try to change your settings. Henry, will you read the next one?
Okay. Word stress is not used in our language. Some language, Japanese or French, for example, pronunciate each syllable with equal emphasis. Continue.
One more sentence.
Other language, English, for example, use word stress. Word stress is not an optional extra that you can add to the English language if you want. It is part of the language. English speakers use word stress to communicate rapidly and accurately, even if difficult conditions. If, for example, you do not hear a word clearly, you can still understand the word because of the position of the stress.
Thank you very much. Okay.
You're welcome.
And the next paragraph, which I'll highlight for you. There we go. That one is for Zeno. Will you read that?
Hello, Michaela?
Yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm Ana Belén. I'm staying in class, but I think you don't see me. You can't see me.
What's your name?
What? Ana Belén.
Okay, your screen
Can you see
says
me?
Victor. Yeah, I can see you, but your screen says Victor, so I was saying Victor, Victor,
Ah,
but you didn't respond. So,
okay. I don't know because my name is Ana Belén.
Anna Boleyn. So why does
Yeah,
your
okay.
thing say Victor?
I don't know. I I try to change my setting after
Ah,
after the
okay. So I
class.
can call you Anna, right? Is that okay?
Okay, okay.
Awesome. Okay. And looks like Fernando came back as well. Fernando, are you there? Nope. All right. Well, I still can't hear Fernando. Zeno, will you read this, and then Anna, I'll give you a section to read right after him. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Think about again the two words photograph and photographer. Now imagine that you are speaking to somebody by telephone over a very bad light. You cannot hear clearly. In fact, you hear only the first two syllables of one of the words. Photo. Which word is it? Photograph or photographer?
Thank you. And Anna, will you finish this paragraph for us?
Of course, with word stress, you will know immediately which word it is, because in reality you will hear either photo or photo, so without hearing the whole word, you probably know what the word is. Photograph or photographer, it's magic. Of course, you also have the context of your conversation to help you.
Thank you very much. And we have one more short paragraph here before we get into some of the rules we're going to talk about today. Oh. Nuri, will you read it for us?
Yeah. Here are some more, rather complicated, rules that can help you understand where to put the stress, but don't know really on them too much because there are many exceptions. It is better to try to feel the music of the language and to add the stress naturally.
Thank you very much. So before we talk about these specific rules, um, I'm going to ask you guys quickly, how do you think you'd be able to get the feel for word stress in a language? I'm going to start with Stephen. What do you think is a good way to get a feel for word stress in a language? Some kind of practice.
Teacher, I don't understand.
So we're going to go over some rules today, but they're very irregular. So the rules don't work very frequently. Maybe only 50 or 60% of the time do these rules actually work, because they're not really rules. They're just kind of some patterns we're going to talk about. So since there are so few real rules describing word stress, how will you be able to understand word stress in English? Do you have any ideas what you might be able to do in order to get a better sense for how to stress words in English? No ideas? How about Nuri? Do you have any ideas?
In my case, I pay attention for the speaker because and the context. It's my way to learn where I have to put the stress.
Yeah, so paying attention and listening to the speaker and where the speaker puts stress.
Yes.
That's one way to practice and to get a good feeling or a sense for where we put stress. Zeno, do you have any ideas? What's a good way to practice hearing the stress of a word?
Oh, I think looking a dictionary, looking at the transcription, or listen to people say the word.
Listening, definitely. Great example. Henry, do you have any other suggestions?
I think that listen words and I see what that how much syllables.
So listen for syllables. Definitely identifying syllables will help you with word stress.
Yes.
Okay. Anna, do you have any suggestions for us?
The only way I think is to listen to much, to TV, the radio, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a great example. So I think one of the best ways is listening to the TV or listening to a movie, even music. Music is very rhythmic, so sometimes music will use the stress of a word in order to form patterns that might help you be able to better identify them in the future. And even if you don't understand what's happening, like if you're, say, listening to a news report in English, you might not understand what they're saying. Maybe they're speaking too fast, so you really don't get it. But even if you don't understand the words, you still can hear the rhythm of English. So you can put something on in the background, and you don't have to worry too much about understanding every word of it, as long as you kind of are getting a sense for the rhythm. Okay, Fernando, are you there? Seems like Fernando has no luck today with his audio settings. Still can't hear you, Fernando. Good luck with that. Let me know in the chat box if there's anything I can do for you. Okay, so let's go on and talk a little bit about these rules, the rules that will sometimes work for us in English. Rule number 1 is stress on the first syllable. So most two-syllable nouns and most two-syllable adjectives. So like I said, this rule is not going to work 100% of the time. It might only work like 50 or 60% of the time. But most of the time, in two-syllable nouns and two-syllable adjectives, we put the stress on the first syllable. So for instance, present, export, China, table, present, slender, clever, happy. And of course, you'll notice that we have two words that are spelled the same and pronounced the same, but they have two different meanings. One is a noun, so a present, the first one would be like a gift, and the second one would be present as in I'm here, I'm in the space. So if a teacher calls your name, you'd raise your hand and say, present, I'm here. So same word, different meaning. All right. Rule number 2, stress on the last syllable. So most two-syllable verbs will have stress on the last syllable. And our examples here are to present, to export, to decide, and to begin. And our first two, you'll notice that the word present is spelled the same as the other two words that we just talked about, but the pronunciation is different because the stress is different. So this is a great example of a time when stress makes a big difference in the meaning of what you're saying. If I say present, you might think I mean a gift, or you might think I mean that I am here. Or if I say present, you'll know that I'm talking about the verb. When you see this in written English, you just have context to tell you, But if you're listening, you get that extra help of the word stress. And export also, you'll see that we have in the noun version of the same word, it's export. So an object is something, an export. It's a thing that you send off to another country. It's an export. Or we have the verb to export. So I export bananas. The product is an export, and I export it. Export, export. Okay, so there's a slight difference there in the pronunciation because of the stress. Rule number 3. Stress on penultimate syllable. Penultimate is the second from the end, so the second to last. And this rule is for words that end in IC, like graphic, photographic, geologic. So words that end in IC, the syllable that comes right before the IC will be the stressed syllable in most words that end with IC. Okay.
This is for all words that end in IC?
It's for most words that end in IC. So it's not 100% of the time, but most of the time.
Okay.
And also, penultimate stress happens in words ending in the sound shun, like television and revelation. So that'll be right before those endings is where we have the stress. Right before shun is where the stress will come in most of the words that end that way. And we have a short note here that, let's see. Fernando, are you there? No. All right, sorry, Fernando. I see you in class 2 times, but I do not hear you. Let's see. How about Stephen? Will you read the note for us?
Okay, teacher. Note: for a few words, native English speakers don't always agree on where to put the stress. For example, some people say television and others say television. Another example is controversy and controversy.
All right. And this usually is the difference between British English and American English. So for instance, television is the way Americans say the word, and television is the way that people from the UK might say the word in general. And the same with the next set. Controversy is usually the way that American English speakers say the word, and controversy is the way that British English speakers usually say the word. So sometimes, unfortunately, it even is different between countries, and it's a little irregular because, as you can see, we just learned about the rule where it's the penultimate syllable being stressed with words that end in shun. But in American English, we do not say television, which would be the normal or the regular way to say it. We say television, which doesn't follow the rule. Okay. Rule number 4. Stress on antepenultimate syllable. Antepenultimate, third from the end. And this will work for words that end in cy, ty, phy, and gy. For instance, democracy, dependability, photography, geology. And it will also work for words ending in la, critical, and geological. Okay. And the last word, or the last rule we're going to learn today is compound words. Words with 2 parts. So for compound words, the stress is on the first part, like blackbird, greenhouse. So those are words that are two words squished together to make a new item. And we usually stress it on the beginning, the first syllable. For compound adjectives, the stress is on the second part. That would be bad-tempered, old-fashioned. And the last one is for compound verbs, the stress is on the second part. To understand, to overflow. All right. Do you guys have any questions or comments on these rules or anything else before we begin? No? You guys are masters?
When you have compound words, the stress is in the word alone. I'm saying compound words is two words in one. Yes.
Yes.
If alone have a stress when the word is together, have the same stress or not necessary?
Not necessarily. So, for instance, in the first one, blackbird, we take the word black and we take the word bird and we put them together to mean something new. For instance, a blackbird is a specific kind of bird. It's not any bird, and it's not any bird that is black, but it's a specific category. It only lives, in a certain region of the world. So, blackbird, we have two words, and usually if I were just going to say that there is a black bird over there, both of those syllables would be stressed because they're two different words. But when we combine them to make one word, I have to pick one to stress, because in one word you cannot have two syllables that are stressed in the same way. Like, you can't have two syllables that are both strongly stressed. You can only have one. So when we put them together, I keep the stress on black and I get rid of the stress on bird. It becomes blackbird, blackbird. Instead of, I might say, hey, there's a black bird over there. Or I would say, hey, there's a blackbird over there. So it changes a little bit. And you can tell, I'm not saying that it's any black bird. I'm saying that it is a blackbird, as in the kind of bird that's called that.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. Then let's get started with some practice. I've got a new document to give you guys, and I'll put it in the chat box for you. Oh, sorry. We're going to start with test yourself, mark clearly the stressed syllables. And some of these words will follow the rules that we just learned. Some of them, there's no rule to guide you. So not every word has a specific rule for it. Some of them you'll just have to maybe already know or guess. But we're going to talk a little bit about where the stress will go, on which syllable. So every time I give you a word, I'm going to ask you to tell me how many syllables there are and which is the stressed syllable. So the very first word here, I'm going to ask, how about Anne? Will you start us?
Hello?
Can you tell us how many syllables there are in that first word and which is the stressed syllable.
For me? Excuse me, I can't listen you clearly.
So, Anna,
Ah,
are you ready to tell us how
Hello,
many
Victor.
syllables?
Yes.
Hey, Anna. So
I
tell us how many syllables and which one is stressed.
I think there are three syllables. Syllables, and the stress is in second abbreviate. I think. I don't know.
Okay, so you're totally right about where the stress is. The stress is on the second syllable. But there's actually more than 3 syllables. The word is abbreviate. Abbreviate. So we have abbreviate. That's 4.
4 syllables.
But you're right about where we put the stress. It's on the second one. Okay. And on the next word, I'm going to ask Stephen to press.
three.
So Stephen, will you tell us how many syllables are there and which is the stressed syllable?
I teach it, okay. Two word.
The second word, yeah.
Okay. Abbreviation. The stress is in last syllable.
So what letter is the stressed letter?
Final syllable.
Which would be which syllable? Can you say it for me?
Excuse me, how many syllables? 2?
So how many syllables do you think there are, Stephen? The word is abbreviation. Abbreviation.
3 syllables.
There's a little more than that. Does anyone have another guess how many syllables there are here?
4. I think 4.
I think 3. I think 5. 5 syllable.
There, we got it. It's 5, actually. It's abbreviation. That's 5 syllables.
Okay.
5.
And we learned a rule that guides the pronunciation of this word. It's the rule we learned about shun words, T-I-O-N words. So does anyone remember what we learned about them?
What's that is a third part. V.
I'm sorry, what? V?
I think what's that is a third part abbreviation.
Okay, so you're close. The rule we learned is that when you have a word that ends in shun, let's see if I'll put it up for us. When you have a word that ends in shun, it's going to be the penultimate. Yeah. So if a word ends in S-I-O-N or T-I-O-N, it's going to be the sound right before that ending that gets stressed. So in this case, it's going to be the I, or sorry, not the I, the A. So it's abbreviation. That A is the stress letter, abbreviation. And we also learned a little bit about the principles of these words because we have abbreviate and abbreviation. So abbreviate is a verb, and abbreviation is a noun. And frequently when you have the same word that goes from a verb to a noun, the stress will move over one syllable, which is exactly what we see here. abbreviate, and abbreviation. It's
Yes.
moved over a little bit to the right. All right. How about the next word? It's a little simpler than the last one and a little more common as well. Nuri,
Also.
how many syllables are there?
2.
And which is the stressed syllable?
All. In the verse.
Yes. The first syllable, the A. Excellent. 2 syllables, and the first one is stressed. All right. The word below that, Zeno, your turn. Tell us how many syllables and which one is stressed.
Although I think 2 syllable. What was just the second syllable?
Exactly. So we have 2 syllables and the second syllable is stressed. So it's although, second syllable stressed. Thank you very much. And Henry, will you get the next word?
Analogy. 3 syllables on stress in second syllable.
So you're definitely right about where it's stressed. It's analogy. So that's definitely the second syllable. But how many syllables did you say there were?
4.
Yes, 4. 4 syllables
4.
here. Analogy. 4.
Okay.
But you're right about where the stress is. Okay. The word below that, we're back to the beginning with Anna. Can you read that for us?
Analysis.
Close. That's not quite the right pronunciation here. Does anyone know how to pronounce this word already?
Analyze.
Yes, it's
Sorry, I
analyze.
can see the
It's the other word, Anna.
okay.
So, analyze. And how many syllables are there and which one is stressed?
3 syllables.
And which one is stressed?
In the second,
Not quite. This one is actually analyze, which means that the stress is on the first syllable.
Okay.
And how about the word below that? These are all related words. So the word below that is for Stephen. Can you tell us how many syllables and which one is stressed? Stephen, are you there?
Oh, teacher, I little bit lost. Can you repeat, please?
Sure. So right now we're going through this list and saying how many syllables are in each word and where the stress is for the word. So the last word we did was analyze. So now we're on this word here. I highlighted it for you.
Analysis.
Almost. So the pronunciation of this word is analysis.
Analysis. Okay. Is 4 syllables. And the stress is in the fourth syllable.
Will you say the word for me?
Cis.
Okay. Can you say the whole word together? Can you say the whole word for us, Stephen?
I don't understand, teacher.
Pronounce the entire word, the complete word, not just one syllable, but the whole word.
Okay. Um, analysis. Analysis.
Okay, so you're pretty close. I think you pronounce it okay, but the last syllable is actually not the stressed syllable, because if it were, it would sound like analysis, analysis. But it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like analysis, analysis. So which is the stressed syllable? Analysis. Does anybody know? Analysis.
Second?
Second.
Yes, it's the second syllable here. Analysis. Okay, and one more using the same root. And this one is for Nuri. Can you say this word, tell us how many syllables and which one is stressed?
Analyst.
Mm-hmm.
In the second.
And how many syllables are there?
3.
Yes, 3 syllables. And the word is analyst. Analyst. So it's not the second syllable being stressed. Which one is it?
Again, please.
What?
I can hear you.
Okay, the word is analyst. 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 So which is the stressed sound there? Analyst.
Analyst. Analyst. Okay.
Can anyone say which is the stressed syllable there? In analyst?
In the second.
Not quite the second, actually.
Nah. No.
It's in the first syllable, so it would be analyst. And I'm just going to quickly show you how it would sound if we changed the stress. So this word is analyst, where we have the first syllable stressed. I'm hearing a lot of background noise. Would people who are not talking just mute themselves? That way we don't have any noise in the background. Thank you. Okay, so we have the word analyst, but if we change the stress, it would sound like analyst. So this is an incorrect pronunciation, but if we were to change the stress, it would become analyst. And if we changed the stress to the last syllable, it would become analyst. Analyst. So that I'm just giving you these examples so that you can tell a little more. If you try it yourself on these words, sometimes it'll become easier. Because if you say the word the way you're used to saying it or the way you think it's said, sometimes you're not really sure because it just sounds like it normally does. But then if you change to stress a different syllable, you can tell which one is wrong. So analyst is the right pronunciation. But if I said analyst, some people might be able to say, oh no, that's not how you say the word. Or analyst is also an incorrect pronunciation. So you guys can try out the different stresses to see which one sounds better to you. And if you have enough experience in listening, you'll be able to hear which one sounds like it makes most sense. Okay, let's do a few more. The next word I'll highlight, and it's Zeno, your turn.
Appalling. Appalling.
Great pronunciation. How many syllables are there?
3 syllable and what's that is the first?
Huh?
3 syllable and the first syllable is chat.
Okay, so you're right about the pronunciation and about it having 3 syllables, but you're not right about which syllable is stressed. So I'm going to give you three examples of this word being stressed on different syllables. The way you said it is that the first syllable was stressed, meaning it would be uppling, uppling, uppling. But that's not really correct, and it's not how you said the word either. The second way would be appalling, and the last one would be uppling, uppling. So which syllable is stressed? It's not the first one.
Second.
Which one is? Yeah, the second one. So if you try out all three of these, we have uppling, appalling, and uppling, uppling. So you can tell, if you've heard this word before, that the second one is the right one here, and the second syllable is the stressed syllable. Okay. And also, another important thing here is the schwa sound, because the stressed syllable always gets a solid vowel sound. But if you look at the word appalling, the letters that are not stressed, their sound changes a little bit. So like this first A, if we don't stress the first A, instead of sounding like a real A, it sounds like So instead of saying appalling, I say appalling. So those two A's have different sounds. Letters that are not stressed, their sound changes a little bit. So that's another way to help you identify which is the stressed syllable, because usually the vowel sound is cut out a little bit, and instead of being pronounced fully, it gets chopped off and it sounds like Okay. Next up is for Henry.
Appropriately. Appropriately.
Okay, so this is appropriately. Appropriately.
Appropriately.
How many syllables?
5 syllables. And stress syllable and stress in second syllable.
Yes, excellent. 5 syllables, and the second syllable is stressed. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And the next one is back to Anna.
Arabic. 3 syllables, and the stress is the second. I don't know.
Okay, so you're definitely right that there's 3 syllables. I'm going to say it for you once more, and guess again on which one has the stress. Arabic. Arabic.
In the first?
Yes, it's the first one, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Next up is Stephen. Go ahead and try this one out for us.
Okay, teacher, is association. Association. The 4 syllables. The stress.
Actually, it's 5 syllables.
5 syllables.
Yeah, association.
Okay. The stress is in syllable 5. Shun.
So we learned a rule about this. What does the rule say about words that end in shun? Does anybody remember?
The fourth syllable chat
A.
Yes. So the rule says, and the rule applies here, that the letter A is going to be the stressed one because it comes right before the shun sound. That's the rule, and it applies well here. So it's the A that gets the stress. Association. Association. All right. The next word and the last word on this page is for Nuri.
Autobiography.
Uh-huh.
4. 4 syllables.
Actually, it's a little more than that.
Auto. 4?
It's actually 5. Autobiography. Oh no, 6. 6.
But
Autobiography.
the stress is in biography.
Yes, autobiography. Yeah, so that O is the stress syllable.
Please again, Wi-Fi syllables.
So 1, to 2, by 3, 4, gra 5, and fee 6. Autobiography. It's a long one.
Thanks.
No problem. Next word is Zeno. And yeah, go quickly. We don't have much time left. So do your best with the first word on the next page. Zeno, are you there?
Categorical. 5 syllable. And what the third syllable suggests?
Yes, 5 syllables, and the third one is stressed. And unfortunately, I have to go now because I have another class coming up in just a second. I have a private tutor session coming up. But thank you all for coming in and sharing this class with me and participating. And I hope to see you guys again soon. And I'm sorry for Anas. I know I didn't get a lot of time to talk to you today. Sorry about that.
Thank you very
Bye,
much.
guys.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher. Thank you. See you
Bye,
later.
teacher. Thank you.